Community News, South Florida's #1 source for local stories.
Okay.
I'm Michael Miller, bringing people together and sharing the voices, events, and connections that shape our community.
Cheers,
Cheers.
guys.
That's true.
I'm all in to be the Miami-Dade County mayor.
That event. Tell everybody about it. What's next? What do we have to do?
Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. Special guest today is Yessica Gonzalez. Jessica, tell us about yourself and why you started this organization called Dr. Good Price.
Thank you so much for having me, Michael. It's not an organization, it's a company. So I started it because I moved to Miami 7 years ago from Mexico. And when I arrived to the US, I realized I was in shock to see the lack of accessibility to healthcare in this country. And I myself had to fly to Mexico to get lab tests done or to see doctors. And I realized this was impossible for so many people. I have a background in healthcare and in pharmaceuticals in Latin America. I worked in Chile, Argentina, Guatemala, and Mexico in that industry. So I saw that there was a huge opportunity to bring that model that works so well there, that offers affordable, accessible healthcare to the US. And a little more profound than that, 25 years ago, I lost my sister. And that loss left me with a huge responsibility to give back to the world, because I saw what she had done in such a few in her short age. And back 25 years ago, I made my life's purpose, to help other people and to have an impact. And with Dr. Good Price, I saw the opportunity, not just for a company for a need that was really going to be met in a very efficient way, but for me to fulfill that mission that I had.
You could have chosen another field, not health, if you wanted to give back.
So I did choose
health?
at some point.
Okay.
When I was 20 years old, when my sister passed away, I went into the nonprofit world, and I founded 2 orphanages in Mexico, and I worked in them for a long time, and they're still running. They have helped more than 500 children in Mexico. They have provided a home. But I realized the limitations of the nonprofit world, in the sense that it's not scalable, it's not replicable. You can go as much as, and with a company, when I learned what social impact through a company meant, I was passionate about it, because I also have a background in economics and in business, and I realized that this is a way that you could really have a bigger impact.
So often, just the opposite happens. People come to the United States and see the healthcare system work, and then they take it back home and say, listen, it's so successful over there, let's do it over here. But you had a different vision. Tell us why.
So I think that happens when it's not primary care, and when you can afford it, and when you can pay very high prices for highly specialized care. And it's true. Outside, the world sees the U.S. as obviously a superpower, and in the healthcare, again, if you have the means, of course, you can get a specialized care. But for primary, everyday care, basic care, I saw that it's completely broken and not accessible. It's just so many people, or patients that come to Dr. Good Price, it doesn't even cross their mind. They don't even think about the possibility of getting healthcare, because they just know it's not for them.
So let's talk about Dr. Good Price. So you opened a clinic. Is the term clinic or office?
It's a clinic.
A clinic. And so what's so special about the way this looks, and what's going to attract people to go to Dr. Good Price?
So let me walk you through an example of a typical Dr. Good Price experience. Imagine it's the flu season and your throat starts to hurt. You don't have insurance, and you can't afford the luxury to go to an urgent care and spend hours there and maybe hundreds of dollars there to figure out what you have, right? So you just walk into Dr. Good Price Clinic, no appointment necessary, at your convenience, and you get received with a warm smile, bilingual services, and you wait 10 to 15 or 20 minutes to be seen by a nurse practitioner. That's our typical wait time. You get seen by the nurse practitioner right there and then. If you need testing done, we do the testing. The medications, if you need antibiotics, for example, you get prescribed the antibiotics and you buy them there and then with us. So you walk out of there having spent 1 hour and having spent $80, $90 in your whole treatment and in your whole visit, and you forget about us. There's no surprise bills. There's not. You just walk out of there.
So we're showing right now up on the screen here, a part of your website. And people, what is the address for your website?
www.drgoodprice.com.
And he's going to be running that off and on through the show. So often people express to me their frustration if they have a regular doctor's appointment. Frequently, this is what I hear: they go to the doctor, they say, "All right, I'm going to give you a prescription for some blood work." All right. So now you have to go get the blood work. Then after you get it, come back to me. When that happens to people, the frustration on their faces is beyond belief. Why couldn't they just do that ahead of time? They knew they were going to do it. So why do they do it like that?
So I can tell you why we don't do it, like how it works with us. With us is a one-stop shop, and going back to this, like what you said, in average it takes 26 days to get an appointment here in the U.S. just to get the first appointment. Then it takes on average three visits to be able to get your treatment or be diagnosed. That's just crazy, and that's just inefficient. That just doesn't work, right? A doctor, and why do they do it that way? Because the insurance is in the middleman there, and they have to, I guess there's just so much bureaucracy, and they have to prove that you need the test so that the insurance covers them, so all the incentives are aligned in a way that is not efficient and not for the patient's best interest.
So if somebody walks into the clinic and you say, listen, we're a triage organization, we're going to treat you if we can. If we can't, how are those referrals made? How does that work?
So at the moment, we don't have referral alliances yet. And usually we're able to treat for primary care, which is a broad range of needs. We're able to treat the patient from beginning to end. So, for example, you mentioned lab tests. If you could walk in with us and our nurse practitioner decides or suggests that you need lab tests done, first he or she is going to tell you how much they're going to cost, so you know how much you're going to pay in that moment. Second, you get the blood drawn right there and then you get the results emailed to you 72 hours at the most after your visit. And with that email, you get also the prescription that you need or the recommendation of what's next. So it just took you one visit. Another option for lab tests is if you know, for example, I have thyroid problem, and I know that I need to get my lab test done every 6 months. I can just walk into Dr. Goodprice and request. You don't need a prescription. You don't need. You just walk in and request to get a thyroid TSH lab test. You get the blood drawn, you pay your $30, you walk out of there, and then you get the results sent to you 2 days later.
So is this innovative, what you're doing right now?
I think it's completely disruptive and innovative for the U.S., but it's just going back to the simple. It's just going back to simplicity. It's just going back to focusing on providing the care and addressing the real need. So I would say it's innovative for here, but it's the model that works in many countries in this world.
And explain to people the difference between your model and some other similar type of healthcare providers.
So to be honest, I haven't found any other model that's close to what we do. Maybe the closest would be an urgent care. The difference is an urgent care is just you can just use it for certain needs. You cannot do chronic treatment there for if you have diabetes, or you cannot. We do vitamin infusions and wellness. So that would be the closest, and the price comparison is nowhere close. For us, an average ticket that includes a consultation, labs, or labs and medication, for example, is $80, whereas at an urgent care, that's very far from it, and also the time required. So I would think that's the closest. So our model has 3 main and unique things about it. Number 1, we do not take insurance. It's not that on the side we do some certain out-of-pockets. We do not take insurance. So our prices are thought out in that sense, in that way, to make it affordable, transparent, and upfront for the patients. No hidden costs, no bills afterwards. Number 2, one-stop shop. So you avoid all those 3-4 visits to get diagnosed, and you get almost everything done right there and then. And number 3, walk-in. So no appointment necessary. It's at your convenience.
So you opened your first clinic in Little Havana. Tell us about future growth.
So we're very close. In a few weeks, we'll be opening our second one in Key Biscayne. And in the next few months, we'll be opening our third and fourth in Doral and Coral Way.
Demographics are different.
I knew that question was coming, the Key Biscayne one.
Yeah, so how do you process and what caused you to do it like that?
Okay, so we're targeting uninsured, underinsured, working class, and I know Key Biscayne does not necessarily have that demographics living there, but working there it does. And it's a huge population of workers who go to Key Biscayne, spend most of their time there, and are isolated there and have those medical needs.
So tell us what, when somebody goes to your clinic, we know in the past 20 years the type of providers of healthcare has certainly changed. Back when you had a nurse and you had an MD. Tell us about the other different providers that are now completely sanctioned by the states.
Okay, so our medical staff is composed of nurse practitioners. So nurse practitioners are licensed in Florida to do what a primary care doctor does back in Mexico, for example. They can diagnose. They can do almost exact same thing as an MD. So, but at a more affordable rate. And then we have medical assistants who do help us with the blood draws, and all of these personnel that we have. Of this team, it's a highly committed team and it's a highly qualified team. They are licensed in Florida with all the appropriate licenses, but also they're foreign medical doctors who have the medical degree and who have practiced medicine for a long time abroad.
So you have the nurse practitioners, the RNs, and then they go get their masters in that care. And also one of the things that happen, not at your clinic, but around the country, osteopaths have improved their position throughout the world. Back 30 years ago, there was this fight between MDs and DOs. Now it's like commonplace. Just all these different providers that are there. So my hat's off to the world for changing that and recognizing you just can't have this highly paid MD, all right, providing basic care when it doesn't need that. It needs somebody that's qualified that doesn't necessarily have to be an MD.
Exactly.
So what is it like being a woman in a disruptive category?
To be honest, I haven't found any obstacles. And I couldn't talk much about that. It's been amazing. My management team is mainly made up of women. Our doctors are more diverse. We have males and females, but I haven't struggled with that.
You still?
Thankfully.
Do you think there's still this glass ceiling that's there? That slows down people that look a certain way?
For sure there is. For sure there is. But I don't think you can limit yourself and see life through those lenses, because that limits you. If the world doesn't, it limits yourself.
Yes. Years ago, when my daughter and son were asked to do something similar, and people told me, your daughter can't do the same thing as, I said, no, that's not the way this works. And we know that there were people that have stood up for healthcare providers and stood up for women in business. And in particular in medicine, we've seen that switch where a huge percentage of healthcare providers, even excluding nurses, are women. So when you work with all women now?
Most women.
Mostly.
We have in the medical staff we have men, and we're mixed, but we're more, maybe 70% women to 30% men.
So what is it that you suggest to those little girls that are out there that say, I want to be like her? I like her, I see what she's doing. Write out a pathway for them. And look at this camera right over here and talk to that little girl. She's 12, 13 years old, and she says, Mommy, Daddy, this is what I want to do, and I saw this lady on TV. So encourage them.
So I would say the main thing is believe in yourself. And my daughter was just saying impossible says I am possible. So just always know that you can have a support. You can support yourself with women and men around you, and believe in your dreams, dream big, and always help other people, because I think that's what moves women, men, and human race. When you really feel fulfilled, it's when you're having a positive impact in someone else.
Where did you find that?
Where did I find
that? About helping other people?
My sister, 100%. She was someone who lived for 20 years, and the impact that she had in so many people was so profound in such a short age that that it's been with me ever since.
That's a driving force for you. And you should be proud of that, because that's there. And your sister lives with you.
I feel I have her. Dr. Goodprice has her heart. Let me tell you something. Dr. Goodprice, when we first started, we said let's help make accessible healthcare accessible by offering low prices and an easy way to access health. And then we've surveyed our patients, and what came out of the survey was that most of them appreciate and say that it's made such a difference for them, not because of the low prices but because of the kind of care that they received from us, how they felt hugged by us and seen by us. And when those results came out, and I saw them, and I was so impressed, because I wasn't expecting for that to be the main thing that people were going to talk about. That's when I said, Eugenia's heart is here.
Not too long ago, I go to the cardiologist. The nurse does the EKG, everything ahead of time. The doctor sits down about 20 minutes later. And we just had this conversation. Didn't even go through the facade to take out the stethoscope and pretend to listen to my heart. That was the last day I went there. I went somewhere else. Even though I got it intellectually. They had the blood pressure, they had the EKG. There was none of that hand-holding. And in very stressful moments, because when people walk in and they don't know what's going on, right? They go, how much is it going to cost? Am I sick? What's going to happen? Am I going to die? Whatever it is. So we understand that is important for people. And you know, when I go talk with people right before there's the surgery, you look at them, you know, they're faced with a lot of stuff, right? And your patients, what's the age group, if you will, that's walk into your clinic? So
the biggest percentage of people are working age people, so from 20 to 45. But we see patients from age 2 to age 99, and yes.
So how can you continue that connection that you have? Certainly you have it internally, but how can you continue that so that the people that walk in there know, all right, that there's something special about your place?
They do know. It's very impressive. I every time I see someone that I know who has been there, their main thing is, oh, I love going there. I feel so loved even. I feel so welcomed. I feel so happy when I'm there. The doctor took the time to see me, to talk to me. It's embedded in the culture of what we've created so far, that we're there to really have an impact, and that the patient is at the forefront of what we're doing, and that's what matters most to us.
So we know that insurance companies drive healthcare, and when you look at some of those figures about how long is that MD going to be with you before you know they're going right to that other room, and you watch it, right? And you go, it's incredible the few moments that they are there.
And I go back to the incentives, because again, I'm an economist by training, and it's all about how you align incentives. Here, our doctor or many nurse practitioners, they're not incentivized to cut time short. They're not incentivized even to sell more than they should. They're not incentivized by money. They're incentivized by providing the right care. And what I love about this model is that not just for the patient, but from the back end, or like the medical practitioners, these are people. I really admire doctors, and I've always admired doctors so much, because these are people who invested and spent so much time in learning how the human body works. That for me is like really complicated, and I can't even see blood, and I just close my eyes. But they have a passion for this. If you study medicine, it's because you have a passion for it. And it's very sad to see that you spend so much, you invested so much of your time, your energy, and your heart there, and then you go out and you have to be dealing with paperwork and insurance and with all these incentives that are like that make you not do what you love. So for us, our nurse practitioners, they're going back to fulfilling that passion.
Jessica, we know that healthcare continues to grow. And even though real estate's not doing too well right now, and you have a lot of industries that are sort of suffering, but healthcare continues to grind forward. Is that because we're getting older or what?
I don't know. It continues to grow, but not the accessibility. Maybe the numbers of the industry continue to grow, not the accessibility of it. From my experience, and I'm quite ignorant because I'm not in the healthcare system, the U.S. healthcare system, but from my experience, the lack of accessibility the gap is just continuing to grow.
So we know that non-married males whose wives or partners had died tend not to take care of themselves. Nobody's there pushing them. So when a patient comes in and he's 71, he lives by himself, all right, and he's there at the doctor's office, what words of encouragement can your practitioners have to check this out, see if he's doing okay?
So I think, again, it's all like human connection. When you sit down with someone who really cares, and they make it easy for you. It's as easy as just walk and come here to a space where you feel seriously the energy there. Like people just sometimes want to go. I promise, it's crazy. But people just because they feel happy, they feel like at home. So I think it's a matter of that connection and that spending that time with them. And I know our nurse practitioners do. They love doing it.
Years ago, there was a growing HMO, and they had a great model. They'd go on the buses, they'd pick up the people, they'd go to the big community room, they'd play whatever games, not checkers, whatever it was. They'd have some Cuban coffee, and they'd get treated. They'd spend the day there, and they would go there and have a good time. Then a company came along and bought the other company, big one. They took away the community rooms. And you know exactly what happened. If I can't go and have a good time there and spend my day there away from my spouse and have some pastelitos and some espresso, and the business took a dive. And to your point, which are when people feel that connection, they tend to go back.
Exactly.
So here we are, this 2025, 2026 could be here in a couple of months. Where's Dr. Goodprice in 5 years?
In 5 years, I think we're going to be able to grow and cover most of Miami. If not, we're very ambitious in where we can get, to be honest. So in 5 years, I think we will be ready to have 10, 15 clinics and to expand maybe through a franchise model, when we already have like the nitty-gritty of everything, how it works exactly. And again, a core principle for us and for me is to be able to replicate the model with the humanity that it involves. Not in a mass, big scale where you lose that personal touch, but to replicate it in that way.
Tell us about your parents.
My parents. So my parents, it's not an easy story. It's not an easy story.
This might be an opportunity because that little girl's looking at you right now. All right. That here's this highly successful woman who has something that's driving her to create this new healthcare system, very disruptive, very innovative. When that little girl looks at you, she's going to want to know that people that went through this can make it.
So I think when life throws at you complicated situations, it's a great opportunity to grow above them and to learn the humanity in them again and the compassion and the love. And I love my parents and I love my family. I've been through a healing process the past 5 years of certain things that I've understood have been for my bigger, for my best, for my bigger growth. And I think it all depends on the lens that you put. You know, the lens that you put in life. You can focus
this is
on
the lesson right now. Go ahead.
Yes, you can focus on what you don't have and what you see other people having, or you can focus on what you do have and how you can make it work, right? So I've always been someone who's been able to control where I put that lens. And of course, many moments I fall down and I don't put it in the right place, but I always pick myself up and remember where to put it. And I know this sounds very maybe cheesy, but I've learned that love is always the right decision. When you can choose to forgive or to love, it's always love that's going to bring you peace, that's going to bring you the best.
Years ago, there's this guy started selling books on the internet, and people laughed at him. And so now I think he controls every market in the entire globe, you know, with Amazon. And we saw how he was able to last through everything, and he had that vision that he could get products to people's homes and businesses better than what was being done. So tell us about that real vision about why you said this is the model, Dr. Good Price is the model that's going to work.
So my vision, my real vision where I sometimes feel like I'm the little girl saying I want to be president and people may laugh, is to transform healthcare in the U.S., primary healthcare in the U.S., into a system that's accessible, affordable, and humane.
So we know, and we shared some stories before we got on, that so often people are scared to get in the system. They don't know how Medicare works. They don't know how insurance works. They don't have a supportive family member that can force the spouse, all right, to go get care. And sometimes some wives make their husbands go do it. Others, they give up. Well, if you want to do that, go ahead. But let's talk about a middle-aged man. What are some of the things they might want to consider, and why they should go get a physical, why they should go to a healthcare provider, and why get blood work?
First of all, the most valuable thing you have is your life, and the most valuable asset you can have is health. When your health is good, then when your health is not good, that hinders everything. That affects everything in your life, right? If you let it pass, if you think, oh, well, it's just a little headache, oh, well, it's just something that's been bothering me, you could end up losing it all, right? And with us, at least with us, it's very easy. You just walk in. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars. You just get seen, you just get tested, and you're doing the responsible thing for your life and for your loved ones, not just for you.
And if somebody has an emergency, they should dial 911 or walk or get to an emergency room as quickly as possible.
Of course. We don't treat emergencies. Yes. We've had emergencies come in, many of them, yes, and we have to call the ambulance.
The interesting thing happened in the middle 90s. My father was... we had a strange relationship. He was having a problem on a Friday, and he goes to a chiropractor. On Sunday, he had a stroke. Because he misread it, all right? He thought it was other thing, and there it was. That was his warning, all right? But he just didn't catch it because he didn't like doctors. That's a wonderful lesson. When it's happening, if they walk into an emergency room or 911, they're probably going to get some attention. So when people go to your clinic, this is for like wellness stuff. Tell us the type of patient that fits into your system.
We do urgent care also. We have many, for example, construction workers that have come in with injuries, with cut fingers or with burns, and we treat those also. So our services go from medical consultations for basic acute diseases or chronic diabetes or thyroid, and we follow up. We follow you through the chronic disease. So we offer medical consultations. We offer medications also, so you don't have to go to a pharmacy afterwards. You get the medication with us. We offer lab tests. We offer packages like preventive packages for checkups. We offer also vitamin infusions and wellness services like vitamin shots. Those are really good because that's keeping you high energy, like that's helping you be healthier and live better. We offer also like physicals, for example, school physicals for children, that's a requirement, or for work when you have to do a physical. We do pap smears. So we offer urgent care services, wound care. So again, I say we cover like basically we don't do radiology on site, but we do have a partner that does radiology. So that would be 2 visits. You come see the doctor, and then you go to the radiology, and then by phone or you can get the results.
So we're going to wrap this session up in just a couple of minutes. I want to congratulate you.
Thank you
All
so
right?
much.
It's a great arena, all right, to be in. And it's certainly with AI moving things around, which is expediting the rapid changes that are happening and that clearly are necessary. And so, Yessica Gonzalez, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
And again, if people want to find out about Dr. Goodprice, they can go to the website, which is it's going to be running across the bottom of that. And welcome to our studio. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's work right over that screen. And Jessica, so what we do is that we follow the Disney rule, which is when you hug someone, don't stop until they do. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Bye.